Pristine, solitary beaches, tall headlands towering overhead, rugged, craggy cliffs and shoreline, deep woods and lush rainforests, miles of sandy dunes, and statuesque lone lighthouses that keep watch over the sea below. The Oregon coast is considered by many to be the finest shoreline in America. It runs 350 miles from the California to Washington state lines. From the pounding surf crashing against a rocky shore to the beachcomber enjoying their quiet solitude along an empty beach, the Oregon coast offers one dazzling display after another of nature's handiwork. There are many ways to experience this shoreline, taking in a spectacular sunset on a bluff high above the sea or crabbing in the coastal bays. Life here has a rich zest to it. Many people along the shore live their lives to the fullest, whether it's deep sea or inland fishing, sailing, beachcombing, clam digging, or viewing whales. Life on the sea has a rare quality to it. The key to the Oregon seaside is Highway 101, which runs the entire coast from Brookings north to Astoria. It wasn't until 1921 that this highway was even started. It took 14 years to finish. Before then, the only way up and down this shore was by boat. This method of transportation was not only slower, but sometimes impossible, given the weather, tides, and sharp rocks. One of the prettiest coastal towns in Oregon is Florence, situated midway on the state seaboard. Located on the Siuslaw River, the town got its start as a small fishing village in 1895. In the early days, Florence was a trading post for farmers living up the Siuslaw Valley. During this time, people relied more on their boat than on their horse and buggy to get around. The main traffic was up and down the valley on the Siuslaw River. Today, Florence has retained a lot of that 19th century atmosphere and charm. This is mainly because of the city fathers' farsightedness when they chose to renovate much of the city's dilapidated old town. Today, this waterfront section is the showpiece of Florence. Structures like the old Kyle building give the area a lot of charm. Built in 1901, the Kyle was a grocery store until the early 1960s. Today, it's on the National Register of Historic Places. Nearby museums, restaurants, and bed and breakfast inns all help to give Old Town Florence a special atmosphere. of the most prominent landmarks here is the graceful and elegant Siuslaw River Bridge, which was built by the WPA in the 1930s. The bridge features handsome columns with beautiful designs etched into the concrete. Florence is also well known for its beautiful display of flowers. In the springtime, the rhododendron drive is full of thousands of gorgeous blooms. Just south of Florence are miles and miles of brilliant white sand dunes. If the sea wasn't in view, one could almost imagine walking in the Sahara Desert or some other Mideast locale. At Honeyman State Park, the dunes encircle delicate coastal lakes. Honeyman is one of the most popular state parks, and it covers more than 500 acres. Walking barefoot across the dunes, the sand ripples and insect trails make elegant patterns along the ridges. The bright light reflects and creates a special mood. The nearby Siuslaw Forest beckons with its cool shade, bubbling streams, and misty mornings. Rhododendrons blanket parts of the dunes, the beautiful colors of the flowers contrasting sharply against the white sandy backdrop. Adjoining Honeyman State Park is the Oregon Dunes National Recreation Area. 50 miles long with more than 14,000 acres, this area is pure sand dune enjoyment. "23 miles to the north of Florence is one of the most stunning lookout points on the entire coast. Cape Perpetua rises 800 feet above the shore and offers views of the coastline for miles on end. Captain James Cook first sighted this beautiful promontory in March of 1778. Cape Perpetua is located in the 600,000-acre Siuslaw National Forest. Nearby, there's a visitor center which has some excellent displays and information on the entire Oregon coast. Sitting on top of the lookout point, staring into infinity, it's easy to spend hours up here, mesmerized by the majestic horizon. Out at sea, you can sometimes watch the whales and the sea lions making their way along the coast. A large number of these sea lions can always be seen 12 miles north of Florence. Here at Sea Lion Caves, these animals make their only mainland home in America. This habitat has been used by the mammals for hundreds of years. Today, this location is one of the most visited in Oregon. These sea lions are actually not lions at all. They're much closer genetically to being sea bears, since they have so many similarities to land bears. Many of the so-called seals at circus and water shows are actually sea lions. The vast majority of sea lions found here belong to the stellar sea lion family. A second variety, the California sea lion, also makes its home here for part of the year. While the California species migrates during the seasons, the stellar tends to stay put. The stellar's range is the Pacific coastal area from California north to Alaska. These sea lions live on a meat diet, mainly fish. Since they need to breathe air, they can stay submerged for only about 5 minutes. During that period, they can go down to depths of several hundred feet. While they're underwater, the sea lions can swim almost 20 miles an hour. They move through the water with a breaststroke using their flippers. These flippers serve several purposes. On land, they're strong enough to be used as feet and arm supports, while in the water, their fins webbing or skin cover helps them gain speed while swimming. The mammal also has ears, which shut tight against the ocean when it dives underwater. There may be as many as 1,000 sea lions that make their home along the Oregon coast. The total population of these mammals is more than 75,000. Most of these stay on islands off the mainland of Canada and Alaska. Here at Sea Lion Caves, there are usually several hundred animals. At one time, there were as many as 10,000 sea lions just in Oregon, but hunters, both commercial and private, nearly made them extinct. It wasn't until 1972 that these animals were finally protected fully by law. Under the Marine Mammals Protective Act, the sea lions were saved from hunting, along with dolphins, whales, and seals. Since the law was passed, the sea lions are starting to make a comeback. These animals have a safe haven here at Sea Lion Caves. Visitors viewing the mammals from up above on the observation deck are kept away at a safe distance. Because of this, the sea lions continue to use this rock ledge undisturbed year after year. And the visitor can still have a front row seat while watching these animals from the deck. The sea lions put on quite a show, with their bellowing, playing, and swimming all along the ledge. So while Sea Lion Caves has grown increasingly popular with visitors, it's also stayed a safe place for these mammals to live and breed. Scientists say that the females usually give birth every other year. The time from breeding until birth is right around 9 months. When they're born, the pups can weigh up to 50 pounds and are 3 to 4 feet long. Within a year, they've grown another 2 feet. At birth, their coats are gray, but over time they change into the familiar light brown color. By the time they become adults, these animals can weigh up to a ton and can get up to 12 feet in length. A sea lion can live almost 20 years. Among the male bulls, there's a pecking order. The biggest and heftiest males have harems of up to 30 females during the breeding season. These males will be challenged by younger, up-and-coming bachelors. The winner gets to keep the harem. The losers of these battles slink away to a lonely exile for the rest of the breeding season, until he can try his chance again another year. Because it takes so much work keeping younger bachelors at bay, the older bulls don't have much time to eat and rest. Subsequently, by the end of the season, they're hungry and weak. These bulls usually need some rest and relaxation after breeding season to get their strength back. Sometimes events are beyond the bull's control, and he loses his harem to a younger bachelor. On other occasions, some of his wives may leave his harem. A rough storm may also disrupt the family, with huge waves washing away some of the females. These wives are also not very loyal to the bull and don't always come home when a harem is broken up. So between keeping an eye on his many wives and fending off bachelors, the old bull stays pretty busy. One of the biggest causes of death among the sea lions is disease, especially from tapeworms and roundworms. Some of the young pups also drown before they learn how to swim well. Others are trampled to death by huge bulls who squash them while moving about on the ledge. The rookery ledge is only one part of this amazing sea lion habitat. The main feature is the cave itself, located about 210 feet below the observation deck. Much of the rocky shoreline along the Oregon coast was created by lava flows from volcanic eruptions. Movement of the earth along faults, along with years of water-eroding rock, created a huge 12-story high cavern, roughly 100 yards long. In the middle of this beautiful cave is a rock island perch that the sea lions rest on. Many other animals can be seen on the rock ledges that encircle the perch. The cave's interior has a special quality to it. The light is almost ethereal, taking on different hues throughout the day: pink, green, and translucent. The cave is at sea level, so the ocean washes in and out during the tides. There are 3 openings to the cavern, and the public uses the 3rd, which is about 50 feet above the sea. From up here, the visitor can see the rock island, the wall ledges, and the many sea lions. These mammals do not breed in here. It's more of a shelter from rough weather or cold days. Once again, down here, visitor and sea lion are kept at a safe distance. The sea lions go about their lives seemingly oblivious to the crowds of people who come here to watch them. The sounds here are unforgettable. The roar of the sea lions mixing with the surf and the wind create for a special experience. The cavern enjoys quite a reputation. It's the largest sea cave in America and one of the most stunning in the world. Many compare it to the Blue Grotto in the Mediterranean Sea. Sea Lion Caves was discovered in 1880 by William Cox, a seaman from the area. Cox floated into the cave several times and once was trapped inside for a few days during rough weather. 7 years later, he purchased the land from the state of Oregon. In 1927, the land was sold, and in 1932, several investors finally opened the site to the public. As the governor of Oregon recently pointed out, Sea Lion Caves is an exception to the rule. At most animal exhibits, the animals are put behind fences so they can be viewed by the public. Here, it's the reverse. The public has a fence put around it so that they can view the sea lions. The awareness of the cave's owners has kept that balance for many years. Without preservation and protection of the caves and the sea lions for all this time, this valuable resource would have been lost. At one time, the state of Oregon paid cash for slaughtered sea lions. But the mammals remained safe here from hunters and encroaching development. Today they live on the seaside ledge and in the cave much as they have for hundreds of years. While many of the visitors come here for the sea lions and the views, others come to see the hundreds of birds that nest here along the shore. Wherever you look, you can see gulls, cormorants, and pigeon guillemots in flight or roosting on the rocks. Right next to Sea Lion Caves is Devil's Elbow State Park and the impressive Hasita Head Lighthouse. Built in 1874, this is the most powerful lighthouse on the Oregon coast. Its light can be seen by sailors up to 20 miles out at sea. The lighthouse is named after Bruno de Heceta, one of the early explorers to Oregon in 1775. State parks like Devil's Elbow and Honeyman speak well of Oregon and how well it's managed its public lands. As far back as 1925, Oregon began creating numerous state parks to protect and preserve places of special beauty. The coastline is a prime example of this strategy. More than 1/3 of the state parks are located here. For fine seafood dining and excellent accommodations, the Oregon seashore is hard to surpass. Walking along the wharf in any of these villages One can buy their own crabs or fish right off the boats. The seafood doesn't get any fresher than this. Sometimes it's a pleasure to watch the fishing boats and their crews as they come into the marina with their catches and unload. Listening to them as they go about their work, catching the feel of the docks and its pulse of life, the ebb and flow, boats going out and returning home. These are all part of the romance and charm of the coastal experience. And it's a rich experience with much variety. There are many things to explore along this beautiful Oregon coast, whether it's private coves and beaches, the charming fishing villages, or perhaps the roaring sea lions. There are places to fall in love with, a rocky sea-swept crag, a quiet tidal pool, or maybe the mist rolling through the coastal forests. For both resident and visitor, the Oregon shoreline is a sea-swept paradise.